Okay, so I was explaining you about the vector. One thing is remaining. Let's say the we have considered both the vectors v1 and v2 of equal sizes. Now let's see if the vectors are not of the equal sizes. In that case, what will going to happen? So for example, if you see here, the first vector which I have considered is the same our v1 vector. Let me execute this. Okay. Let's try to see the value v1. We got this value. Now let's take the second vector as 4 and 11, only two values. So execute this in the value v2. See here we got 4 and 11. Now what will happen if we will going to add these two vectors? So what I've written the same way, add v1, v2. I have added. Now I'll try to print. If you see the values, the first value is 1 plus 4, it's coming 5. The second value is 2 plus 11, 13. Now after that, the second vector is over. So what it's showing me, 4, right? Here 4 is there and here nothing is there. So what it does, the second vector will reshape itself to become equal to the first vector, right? So what exactly it will do, it will repeat its element, like it will represent the element in this way, right? So 411 comma 411 comma 411, so that it will become equal to the length of the v1, and then the operation will take place. Okay, so the shorter vector will become to the length equal to the longer vector, and then the operation will take place. The process, this process is called as the recycling of the that vector. So it will going to repeat its element. So for example, after this, the 4 plus the 4, this element will be added, and then it will give me what, 8. And then the next element will be what, 5, 11, it's giving me 16. So this shorter vector will be represented in this particular format. Why only 6 element? Because there are 6 element inside the vector v1. Now you will ask me that, sir, if there is odd number of elements are there in the vector 1, then what will happen? Then in that case, this won't be able to repeat and the operation will not be possible. So it has to be the multiple of the shorter vector. The length of the v1, length of the longer vector should be the multiple of shorter vector. Then only this repetition will be possible. Okay. I
So can
hope
you
all.
repeat again?
Yeah, yeah. So what I was saying that whatever operation we did on the both the vectors which were of the same length. Like we consider v1 vector, v2 vector also had 6 elements, right, earlier. Now what we are doing, the first vector which I am considering, it's of 6 elements length. The second vector which I am considering, it's of only 2 elements. Now in this case, how the addition will going to happen? So what happens in this kind of scenario, when both the vectors are not of the same length, the shorter vector, that means this one, will going to represent itself. It will going to repeat its element in such a way that its length will become equal to the v1. So for example, this v2 will be written as like this: 4 11 comma, then again 4 comma 11, then again 4 comma 11. So in this way, total number of elements will become 6, which will be equal to the v1. Now what will happen, if these elements are not of the even number? For example, this is 2, so if we multiply it by 3, it will become 6. So it's exactly the multiple of these two, hence the repetition is possible. But if there are 7 elements, then it will not be able to repeat itself, because doesn't matter how many times it will repeat, it will not be going to equal to. Few people are wants to join, I think. Okay, no. Okay.
So can you add and see? I mean, can let's keep it as non-uniform, the odd number, and see what if it's giving an error. One more number.
See this, I've added 15 over there, right? I'm executing v1, then v2, and then this v2 is number 411. Then I'm adding this. So if you see here, it's giving me the longer object length is not a multiple of the shorter object length. So it's clearly telling me that the longer object which we are having the total number of elements as 7, and in the shorter vector we are having 2. So it's not the multiple. The 7 elements are not the multiple of the 2 elements, right? So we have to keep in the shorter vector as the I mean the multiple of that one. The longer vector should be the multiple of the shorter vector. Okay.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Yeah.
And this has to be done by for all operations, right?
If
Addition,
it,
subtraction, multiplication.
yeah. For all the operation, it will do automatically. We don't have to do anything. Okay. It will
Okay.
do by itself. Yeah. If in case the two vectors are of the not of the same length, then it will do automatically.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, in this, we are storing the value of addition in add, right? Add
Right.
integer.
Right.
What if we do only v1 plus v2? Then, well, where will the value get stored?
It will not be stored anywhere. Just it will be for displaying purpose. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So in case if you want to check what is the addition value, simply you don't want to store anywhere, then obviously you can just, for example, if you see here v1 I created and I'm displaying that value, I'm not storing anywhere. So just for the seeing the value, you can just simply write that variable name and you can see the value if you don't want to store anywhere. Clear?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now let's go ahead to the next part, that is the matrix. Matrix. Now, in the matrix, let me explain you a little bit. So, in the matrix, we have the data in the matrix is a two-dimension. Normally, you all of you know that the matrix is represented like this, okay, where this one here, yeah, where we have the elements in this particular fashion: 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say 7, 8, 9. So, the dimension of this particular matrix, this is row 1. Okay, this is row 2, row 3, and this is the column 1, column 2, column 3, right? If I want to give the dimension of this particular matrix, so there are three rows and three columns, okay, three columns. So I can write the dimension as 3 by 3. This is my 3 by 3 matrix. Similarly, if I want to have 2 by 3 matrix, then 2, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2. So this is my two rows, okay, two rows and three columns, three columns. So this I can say this is 2 by 3 matrix. So in the matrix, one thing is there, that here also the data will be of same type. Data will be of same type. If you're creating a numeric matrix, then all the data will be of numeric type. If you are creating a matrix of integer type, all the data will be integer type. If it is a character type, all the data will be of character type. So it's similar to vector, but only thing, the data will be stored in two-dimensional format, in the matrix format. Okay, let's see how to create the matrix and then how to move ahead. Okay. So let's say I want to create a matrix, okay, and I'm creating matrix in m variable. There is one function, matrix itself. We can use this particular function, and here we can mention, so here also we can create the matrix with the help of C function, combined function. Let's say I'm mentioning the values 3 is to 14. 3 is to 14. In this way, I'm writing. I need to mention the number of row. That's a number of row. I am mentioning 4. And by row, I am saying true. What will happen? So let me first execute. I'll clear this screen. Control L. Okay. So if I executed this, has created a matrix where number of rows will be 4, and I have set by row equal to true. By row equal to true. That means row wise it will going to lay down the elements. I'll show you. Now if I display the values, okay. 1 minute, I think I've written in between. At the end, I'll share the code file also so that you can practice. Yeah. So if you see here, the 3 to 14, so it will have all the values from 3 to 14. So if you count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, total there are 12 values are there. So if I make four rows, obviously 4 by 3 it will be 12, so definitely there will be 3 column. Okay, here I have mentioned 4 row, n row equal to 4, so there will be 3 column. And what I have said, by row equal to true. So if we'll say by row equal to true, what it will do, it will start from the 3. So by row equal to true, by row it will going to lay down the elements. So first it will complete the first row, then the second row, then the third row, and then the last row. So it's like it's laying down the elements in this way: 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So it will lay down the elements in row wise. Similarly, if I write in this way, matrix 3 to 14, n row equal to 4, by row equal to false. Okay, by row equal to false. If I execute this one, and let me put m. Okay, here what I've said, by row equal to false. So in this case, it will not lay down the elements row wise. In fact, it will lay down the elements column wise. So if you see here, 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. After that, it will do with the second column: 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the third column: 11, 12, 13, and 14. So if we say by row equal to true, it will lay down the elements in row wise, right? If you say by row equal to false, it will lay down the elements column wise. So this is the difference. Now, if I want to calculate the number of rows, so what I can say, n row, there is one function, n row. I can put the matrix over there and I can check the value. So it's giving me number of rows, that is 4. Similarly, I can say n col, and I can say m, so it will give me 3. So for this particular matrix, n row is what, 5, n rows is what, 4, and n column, that is number of column, is what, 3. Okay, now if you see, these values are displayed, and by default, if you see, the indexes are given like 1. So this is the first row, this is the second row, third row, and fourth row. For the column, so the representation is like this: the first subscript notation, first one is what, it will represent the row number, and the second part will represent the column number. So it's like first column, second column, and third column. But there is no specific name to the rows. Okay, if I want to give the names to the rows, even the names to the column, that also is possible. So we can give the row names and the column names. What we can do, we'll have to create two variables. So let's create two vectors, character vectors: row names, and here what I'll do, I'll use the C function. Let's say I'll say here row 1, comma, row 2, comma, row 3. So there are 4 rows, row 4. This names I have given, row names, and I'll display the values. This is a character vector. Okay, this is a character vector. If you want to check the class, you can say class row names, and it is what, a character vector. Similarly, I'll give column names. Okay, column names. Here I'll give column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, sorry, 3 columns are there, right? Column 3. Let me execute this. Let me print column names. I printed. Row names are row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and column names are column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. Now let's create the matrix with these particular row names and the column names. Let's create the matrix. I'm taking variable P, and I'll use the matrix function. Right? So with the help of C, I can mention first the element. Same element I'll take 3 to 14, and I'll say end row equal to 4. By row equal to, I'll say true. By row equal to true, and then I'll mention dimension names. So it's like there is one parameter. If you see here, I have written only dim, so this has come dim names. So I'll use this particular parameter dim names is equal to, and here in the list we have to mention both the names which we have just created above. So first one was row names, and second is what? Column names. That's it. So both these variables we have already created character vector. In the list, only thing you need to mention both the row names and the column names. Right. Now let's do it. I'll just stretch it over here so that you all can see. Yeah. So let me execute this. Let's print. If we'll print now, we will get the row names as well as the column names. How we have specified these row names and column names? Initially what we did, we first created the character vector with the row names, second one with the column names. You should know before giving these names how many columns are there and how many rows are there, right? So that you can calculate by n row and n column function. You can mention the matrix name and it will give you the number of rows and number of columns. Then you can give the name, and then while creating the matrix, how we can create the matrix? With the help of matrix function. Whenever you want to create the matrix, you can use the matrix function. In that you can specify in the create in the C function whatever values you want, right? Then n row you can specify over there. Depending on that, it will going to take the column, and then by row, if you want to mention true or false, you can mention. Then in the dim names parameter, you will have to specify in the list both the variable names, row names and column names, and then it will going to take that particular names and column names. Okay. Now,
So,
yes,
in our language, can we take input from the user?
yes, definitely we can take, and we'll come to that one also. Okay, we will go slowly one by one, so we'll cover everything. Okay.
Om,
Yeah.
yeah, one doubt. What is the logic behind this 3 by 14? Means if I mention does those numbers should be divisible? Is it something? Suppose I make it 3 by 15 or 3 by 17.
No. If you'll make 3 by 15, then the total number count will be 13. Then we cannot lay down the matrix elements, right? If I'll select 4 rows, so you will divide 4 by 3. There should be 14. There should be 12 elements only, right? So it cannot be 13 or it cannot be 14. Clear?
No, I didn't get this logic. That's why I asked.
Okay. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me go on the notepad. Okay.
Yeah.
See here, if in the C function I am mentioning C 1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay.
and n row I am mentioning as two. So if I mention n row 2, there are how many elements? There are 4 elements total. Always remember in the matrix, the number of elements will be m by n, or you can say row into column. Okay. So the total elements will be row into column. So for example, over here, if I say n row as my 2, then you can easily tell me that how many columns should be there, because there are 4 elements. So 2 multiplied by 2, that many number of columns will be there. Okay, so 2 rows will be there and 2 columns will be there, which will make out 4. So total number of elements will be what? 4. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
So in a similar way, if I mention 3:14, I mean you consider both the numbers also, and you will going to lay down from the numbers from 3 to 14. So total numbers will be 12. Actually, total elements will be 12. So if I mention n row as my 4, then you can easily tell me a row multiplied by column. So column has to be 3. Then only I'll get what? 12. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you will specify the numbers, either you specify in this range, or you can also write down the numbers in this way. But you should be sure, because we cannot mention over here 3 by 2. I mean, number of if we will say 3 in n row as 3, then it cannot lay down the elements in the columns, because then how it will going to complete with the 4. So we have to from our side, we have to be careful, right? How what dimension we are writing over there,
Okay.
so that it will be properly distributed. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so now let's say suppose this is our matrix 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is 4 rows and 3 columns. Now we will try to access the elements of this particular matrix. So let's say if I am mentioning in this way, P, let's say P 1, 3. So always remember, in the matrix, since this is a 2-dimension, we have to specify the row number and the column number to get one particular element. So if I mention 1, 3, then it will going to give you that coordinate number. So for example, here row number 1 is what? Row number 1 is this one, and the column number 3. So column number 3 is what? This last one. So which element I'm talking about? I'm talking about this 5, row number 1 and column number 3. Similarly, if I say P of, let's say, the 4th row and 2nd column. So 4th row is this one, 2nd column is this one. So I'm talking about this particular 13 element. Okay, this element. So this is how we can get the element, by specifying the coordinates of that particular element in the square bracket by indexing it similar to the vector, and we'll be able to access that particular element. Now what will happen if we'll write in this way? E, then let's say 2, and we are leaving the blank the second parameter. Okay, this one we are leaving it blank. Then what will going to happen? So we'll execute this. If we see, we are getting 6, 7, 8, which is nothing but your second row. So it's like the notation is like this. I want that second row full second row I want. That's why I'm second row in all the columns I want. So that's why we have not mentioned any particular column over there. Otherwise, it would have given me that particular element. But I want that the second entire row should come over there. That's why I mentioned 2, comma, and the second parameter I have left it blank. Similarly, we can do in this way also. P, then the first parameter I am leaving blank, right? And the second parameter I am, let's say I'm specifying 3. So what it will give me? It will going to give me the third column. So if you see, the third column is what? 5, 8, 11, and 14. So if we check it, those values are like row 1 values is 5, then 8, then 8, 11, and 14. It has displayed in the horizontal way, but what it has given me, the third column. So it's like third entire row I've left blank. So that means I want all the rows of the third column, So it has given me, in fact, it has given me the third column, all the elements. Okay. So I'm sure this whether this is clear to all of you, this notation. If you'll just mention the first element, you will leave the second element blank, it will give you that particular row. If you leave the first space blank and you will write the second parameter, it will give you that particular column. Okay. Now let's do some operation with the help of matrices the way we did with the vector. So we'll create two matrices, and with this matrix we'll create in some different way. What I'll say, mat1 is equal to, I'll use the same matrix function, and with the help of C here I'm not going to specify the range. In fact, I'll give the numbers. So let's say I'm giving the numbers like 3, 9, then -1, 4, 2, and 6. So these are the numbers which I've given, and here I'll say only n row equal to 2. So I have mentioned that I want 2 rows, and by row I have not mentioned that particular parameter. Okay, by row I have not mentioned. What I have mentioned, I have mentioned that 2 rows. So if I mention 2 rows, it will going to create out of these elements 2 rows. So if it will going to create 2 rows, how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 elements. So that means it will going to put in first row 3 elements, right? So if you multiply it by 2 by 3, then only 6 will come, right? So in the first row, it will put 3 elements, and in the second row, it will going to put 3 elements. So let's see this one. I'll try to print that, mat1. If we see here, it's giving me 3, 9, -1, 2, and 2, 6. But the 3 elements are there in the first row, and 3 elements are there in the second row, and it has completed 6 elements. Now the parameter which I have not mentioned, that is by row equal to true. Okay, so by default by row is equal to false. Okay, by row is false, and that's why you can see here it has laid down the elements in the column way, So by default by row is equal to false. If you don't mention, then it will going to lay down the element, like the first element over here, second element over here, third element, fourth element, fifth and sixth element, in this way. Okay, let's take the next matrix. So 2 matrices are required. I'll take the second matrix. And here I'll give the numbers like 5, 2, 0, let's say 9, 3, 4. And here also I'll say n row equal to 2. Let's execute this. mat2, again this is total 6 elements, right? So we'll get in this way, first row 3 elements, and in the second row 3 elements. Now what we'll do, we'll simply say try to find out the addition and subtraction. So let's say I'm saying add mat1 plus mat2. If I'll say this, I'll display the add. It will going to add element by element. It will do the addition. For example, first element is 3, and here the first element is 5, so it has given me 8. Then 9 and 2, 9 plus 2, so it has displayed over here 11, right? -1, 0, -1, 0 over here. 4, 9, 30, 4, 9, 30 over here. So this is what element by element it will do the addition. In the similar way, element by element it will do the subtraction also. So if I'll say mat1 minus mat2, okay, and then subtract, so it has given me element by element subtraction. Now there will be problem in the matrix multiplication. So if we will say simply in this way, mul mat1 multiplied by mat2, and if we try to print, what we'll observe, it has done the matrix multiplication element by element. For example, 5 got multiplied by 3, and it has displayed over here 15. 9 multiplied by 2, 18, right? Then -1 multiplied by the 0, so it has displayed over 0. 9 multiplied by 4, here 36. But matrix multiplication doesn't happen in this way. This is a wrong matrix multiplication, and this matrix multiplication has happened element by element. In reality, the matrix multiplication will not take place in this way. So the matrix multiplication will be done like this. So for example, in the matrix 1, let's say I am having the elements 2, 3, 1, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. This is my matrix 1 of 3 by 3. Then in the matrix 2, let's say I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4. This is 3 by 3 matrix. So in the matrix multiplication, what we do, we take the row of the first matrix. Okay, first of all, for matrix multiplication to take place, there is one condition. The row of the first matrix must be equal to the column of the second matrix, or the column of the first matrix must be equal to the row of the second matrix. This is a necessary condition, otherwise matrix multiplication will not take place. So in our programming example, we took total 6 elements. So the rows were like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's say this is our first matrix where we had 2 by 3, and the second matrix was like 4, 5, 6. Let's say 7, 8, 9. This is also 2 by 3. So if you see here, the total number of rows is what, 2 of the first matrix, and the total number of columns of the second matrix is what, 3. So this matrix multiplication will not going to take place. Okay, so the total number of rows of the first matrix must be equal to the total number of columns of the second matrix, or the total number of columns of the first matrix must be equal to the total number of rows of the second matrix. Then only the matrix multiplication is possible. Now how the multiplication will take place? So let me remove this. Okay. So we will select the first row of this particular matrix, and we will going to multiply by selecting each and every column of this particular matrix. So let's say we have selected first the first column. So what we will do here, we will say 2 into 1 plus, so 2, how 2, because this is a 2 element, will be multiplied by this first element, plus 3 into this 3 into multiplied by this 3, plus this 1 will be multiplied by this 1. So this will going to give me the first element of this matrix multiplication. Then the second element will be second element will be like first the same row, and now I will select the second column. So this will be 2 multiplied by this 2 plus 3 multiplied by this 4 plus this 1 multiplied by this 2. Okay. Then the last column is remaining, and the same first row, I'll say 2 multiplied by, how to, this particular element, 2 multiplied by this 3 plus this 3 multiplied by this 5 plus this 1 multiplied by this 4. So this will going to complete my first row. Then what I will do, I will select the second row, and I'll go in the similar way: first column, then second column, and then third column. Then it will going to give me these 3 elements. Then finally I'll going to select the last row, and I'll select first row, second row, first column, second column, third column. It will going to give me 3 elements. So actual matrix multiplication, it happens in this way. And the size of this matrix will be what? Size of this matrix will be m by n. I mean, row of first matrix and the column of the second matrix. So the first criteria is very clear, that is, matrix multiplication will take place only when the number of rows of the first matrix must be equal to the number of column of the second matrix, or the number of columns of the first matrix must be equal to the number of rows of the second matrix. So whatever matrix multiplication we are seeing over here, this is not proper, because it has done what? It has simply multiplied both the matrices element by element together. Okay, and this is not I mean, it is not to be done, right? This is not a matrix multiplication. So let's do now the proper matrix multiplication. But for that, we need to be we need to create the number of rows of the first matrix should be equal to the number of columns of the second matrix. So what we will do, I'll create in this way, matrix 1 equal to matrix, and then in the C function, I'll specify those numbers, let's say 3, 9, and -1, 4, and 2, 6. And then I'll give the dimension of this particular matrix as n row equal to 2. So that will be two rows. I display this mat1. It's like 3 minus 1, 2, 9, 4, 6. Let's create the second matrix. Matrix, the C function. Now this I'll give the same values again, 5, 2, then 0, 9, 3, and 4. Now here what we will do, we will say n row equal to 3. I'll say n row equal to 3 because if you see here, total number of rows was 2. Total number of row is what over here, 2. Now the number of rows must be equal to the number of columns of the second matrix. Let's see how this will be displayed. Mat2. Let's try to display this. If you see here, the number of columns are 2 in the second matrix. So the number of rows in the first matrix is equal to number of column in the second matrix. Now matrix multiplication is possible, and to multiply this, we have to use some other operator. Let's do multiplication. I'll say mat1, and then there is percent, okay, and then put star, and then again put percent, and say mat2. So this is a symbol for actually multiplying the two matrices, but the requirement is what? The number of rows of the first matrix must be equal to number of columns of the second matrix, or the number of columns of the first matrix must be equal to the number of rows of the second matrix. So if we'll do this one, and let's try to display MUL. Now this is the real multiplication. This is a real multiplication. So what is the now the dimension is what? The number of rows of the first matrix and the number of columns of the second matrix. So it is actually 2 by 2 matrix. Whether matrix multiplication is clear to all of you, how we are doing over here, or is there any doubt? Yes, I hope it's clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Will we just practice and get back to you if there's anything?
Yes, definitely. I mean, after the sessions, if you all can see the recording and slowly and steadily you can practice it, you'll be having the entire week. Okay, so we don't have to worry at all, and you'll be able to do this. It's simple. Only thing you need to sit and practice. Okay.
Mr. Yadav, is there a transpose function in R?
Yes. I'm coming on there. Okay.
Okay.
So I was actually coming to that point only. So now we have the matrix 1. Matrix 1 is this one. Now what if I want to find out the transpose of this particular matrix? What do you mean by transpose? Transpose of any matrix is like these rows will be converted to the columns. Okay, so these rows will become the columns. So for getting the transpose, I'll just say T. T stands for transpose function, and I'll say mat1. So I'll get the transpose of the matrix 1. So if you see here, earlier my rows were these 3, -1, and 2. Now I got what? The rows got converted as a column. So I am getting this particular row in the column way, 3, -1, 2, and the second row is 9, 4, 6. Now I got in the second column 9, 4, 6 in this way. Similarly, if you want, you can get the transpose of the matrix 2 also. So this is the transpose of the matrix 2. Okay, what was the matrix 2? Wait. Yeah, matrix 2 is my this one. Okay, so there are three rows and two columns. Now, if I want to take the transpose of this one, the rows will become columns and columns will become rows. So let's enter. See here, the first column is 520, it has become row. Second column is 934, it has become second row. So this is the transpose of the matrix, right? This is how we can get the transpose. Now, suppose I don't know whether all of you have heard about the determinant of the matrix. So if I want to determine the determinant of the matrix, I can say DET, and I can mention the matrix name. Okay, what is showing me? Yeah, so for determinant, there is a condition that it has to be a square matrix, right? So my matrix 1 might be not the square matrix. I must have the square matrix, and then only I can determine the determinant of that particular matrix. So let's say what I'll do, I'll create matrix, let's say C, 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. I'll say m row equal to 2. So this will going to create a matrix with 2 by 2. Let me display this. So this is my 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 4. So this is my square matrix. Square matrix is what? Number of rows must be equal to number of column. So this is my square matrix. Now I can say determinant matrix. It is giving me -2. Similarly, if you have 3 by 3 matrix, and for that also you can get the determinant. Determinant is also a very important thing which can give you a lot of things, right? Whenever you will do the matrix operation, and during the eigenvalues determination also it becomes handy if you know the process. And a matrix, see, the mathematics of the matrix is also very important. So whenever you get time, you can just revise your old 12th standard concepts and all, because linear algebra plays very important role in the machine learning and the data science. So whenever you get time, you can always revise your statistics part of the maths and even your no matrix and all, so that it becomes helpful. For example, in the statistics, you will get mean, variance, standard deviation, correlation. All these becomes very handy if you know, statistics properly. Then nobody can stop you to become the data scientist. Only thing you need to learn the programming syntax. That's it. And the concept of statistics you already know. And for what purpose? See, just knowing the procedure is not enough. You must understand which thing you are determining for which particular purpose, right? So the conceptual learning is important. Okay, so this is about the matrix. Few more things are there, like yeah,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah, yeah.
Just wanted to ask, for multiplication of the matrix, the symbol that is showing, is it percentage symbol?
Yes, it's a percent, then star, and then again percent.
Okay. I was getting an error when I was trying to do that. I'm not sure why.
So what error you are getting? Can you tell me?
So it was a unexpected. It was an error in non-conformable arguments.
If you can share your screen, then probably we all can see and we can tell you, right? Because
Yeah. 1 second.
It's very small. If all of you can
ये सेकंड जो मैट 2 है ना उसके आगे परसेंटेज नहीं लगाऊंगा. That is
okay.
the.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now try.
yeah, I get the same.
So now what? It's very small to.
Yeah, so I got the same error again. I'm not sure why.
Non-conformable arguments. Whether
Mult it's
okay, understood.
One है MUL.
Yeah, M2 you make n number of rows is equal to 3 because just now I explained, right? The number of rows of the first matrix must be equal to number of columns of the second matrix. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I'll try this again after this. Let me. Okay.
Change that one. You will get.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try this. Let's continue with the class.
No, you can do it right now. See there in the line number 37. Line number 37. Make that as 3. Okay.
Okay.
Run that. Yeah. Now execute that one. Okay. Now you can print. Clear? Got? So that was the problem. Yeah. So we need to be careful while doing the matrix multiplication because the rule says that it should be the number of rows of the first matrix must be equal to number of columns. If dimension will not match, then it will not be able to multiply. Okay. So this was about the matrices. Let's now quickly see the list object. List. In the vectors and matrices, we had only the similar kind of data elements, but a list allows us to store the combination of all the different kinds of data elements. And this is the beauty of the list. Most of the times we'll be using the list. Let's create one list. I'm saying list data. List data, and this will be creating with the help
Can you
of.
share your screen properly? We can't see it properly. I don't know if it's me only, but
Screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. My screen is not visible.
You need to share it again.
Okay. Because yeah. Okay, I'll reshare it. So, but if somebody shares, then our screen goes away, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, now it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was telling that now we will go ahead with the list, and I'm creating one list. So one variable I have taken, and there is one list function. There is one list function. With the help of list, we can create the list. Let's put over here combination of data like A, then B, then let's say 1, 2, 3. So this is my list, and if you see here, it's a combination of character as well as the numeric data. Let's create this and print this. Control Enter. Here it's telling me the list elements A, B, 1, 2, and 3. It's showing me. Okay. So if you see here, list object is what we can store the heterogeneous kind of data or the mixture of the data types. Okay. Now let's create one more list. With the help of list function. In this, what I will do, I'll store the string, let's say red, green. Okay. Then let's store one numeric vector itself. So like 1, 2, 3. So this is a numeric vector. Okay, full vector I am storing over there. Let's store one logical value 2 over there, and then let's store some values like this. See here a combination of mixed data. I executed. Let's print this. So it has printed all the values. So it's possible even within list, one more list we can store. We have stored the numeric vector itself. We can store the character vector. So list is very versatile, right? All kind of data we can accumulate in the list, and we can represent with one single data. Now, if I want to access the first element, how we can go ahead with it? Yes.
Sir, I'm getting an error. It's saying argument 6 is empty.
Argument 6 is empty, but where is the question of 6 argument? I mean, you are trying to access the element, or what? Why it's giving you the error?
I don't know, sir. I did list the first one with A, B, 1, 2, 3. When I
Okay.
did control enter, then is what
Can you share your screen? Then only maybe probably we'll be able
You
to.
might be having a
There
comma
must
at
be
the
double
end.
comma. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
okay.
must be double comma.
Okay. Is your error got resolved? Whether you forgot the comma, after writing comma, you forgot something to write the element over there, or that kind of thing is there.
Space also sometimes is a problem. Space.
Space will not going to create any problem. See, for
Can you
example,
see my screen?
if I'll put space like this, it will not going to create any problem. Okay.
You might be having a comma after the 3.
Yeah. Can
That's why
you
it is
share your
looking for
screen?
the
Then
next argument.
everybody.
Yeah. After
Yeah.
the okay, yeah. Thank you. Yes. Now.
So this is the reason I always say to share the screen, because many are there and all can respond over there, and everybody can see what common mistake people can make, right? So
Yeah.
it's learning for everybody. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I'll again have to share my screen. Just wait. Yeah. So my screen is visible to all of you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I have created this list. It's a mix of all the data types. And now I want to access the element. Let's say I want to access this first red element. So I will mention again in the similar way, list data, whatever my variable name is there, where I've stored. With the square bracket, I'll say 1. So it will going to give me the first element. I'll execute this, and I got the first element. Let's say if I want to access the second element, so I'll say list of data 2, and it will going to give me the second element, that is green. Now if we observe the third element, so if I'll write over here list data 3, so the 3 will going to give me the third element, and which itself is a vector 1, 2, 3, right? Now what I want that I want to access in the 3 I want to access this first element. Okay, in the 3 I want to access the second element. So how I can go ahead with that one? So I'll have to mention this way, list data. So with the help of these three, we can get this entire vector, right? And then after that, if I'll mention 1, then I can get the first element. But remember, there is one things to be note down. Whenever you are accessing of the list, within a list, there is a vector, and you want to access that particular element, right? What you have to do, there is a little bit change in the syntax. What you can put over here double bracket like this. So it's like in the list, there is again the collection of some numbers are there. So you have to put 2 bracket like this, and then the first, when I'm mentioning, it will give me the first element of that particular vector. So if I'll say this one, if you are seeing, we will get the first, that is 1 of this particular vector. Similarly, if I want to get this 2, I'll write like this, list data, right, in the double bracket 3, and then here I'll simply put what, 2. So if I'll say like this, it will give me 2. Okay, whether all of you understood, there is no need to get confused in this one. It's simply you can remember 3,1, 3,2, right? Only thing, this one I am mentioning the double bracket. Okay. So if this is clear to all of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is how we can create the list, and this list is very flexible, right? You can access the elements, you can have the combination of all the different types of elements in this. Now let's go ahead, and we can also have we can also create some of the like here also we can give the names and all the way we used to give in the matrices, right? So that you can explore later. So many things are there in the list also, but what is required that I have taught you, which was the important thing for me to know you, that how we can create the list and how we can access the elements from the list. So now let's go ahead, and let's see one very important data type, one very important object that is called as a factor. So see, initially only I told you that whatever stuff which are really important for your data science part, right, that I'll be teaching you of the R language. And see, if I'll go on covering each and everything of the R language, then definitely this workshop will become the workshop of the R language, right? So the hence in cut short way, whatever things are really important for the point of view of the data science, I'll be teaching those parts. So my direction will be clear. Now there is one factor kind of data type. So what do you mean by factor? Let me demonstrate this, and this is very, very important whenever you will be dealing with any particular data set, because in the data set you will be having number of rows and columns. So where this factor will come into picture. So let me take one example, and you all of you just pay attention. So in the data variable, I'm giving east, then let's say west, east, then let's say a north, then north, suppose I've given this particular data and I'm creating this. Let's print. If I write class data, so what we will get? We will get what? Character type. It is a character kind of data. Now we can clearly see from the data that it's not like different kinds of data is there. There are three different levels we can see. Which one? First one, there is a east is there, then second is west is there, and then there is a north is there. So we can see clearly there are three classes exist in this particular data, right? So what factor denotes whenever we have a string kind of column in our data set, that column can be considered as a factor kind of column or categorical column. Categorical means what? Different categories will be there in that particular column. For example, if you see in this vector, there are three different categories are there. First one is east, then there is west, and then there is north. Okay, so see three different categories we can see clearly. But this data is it's saying that it's a character vector. Now if we want to convert this into the factor means into the different levels, okay, into different factors. So if I want to convert this into the factor, first of all, let's check whether this is a factor data. So I can check in this way, is dot factor. What I want to check this data. If I check, it's giving me false. Of course, it's not a factor data. It is what? It's a character vector. It's a character vector. Now let's see how to convert any character vector to a factor data. So here what I'll do, I'll try to convert. I'll say new data, new data. And I told you that we have so in this we can do what factor we can use, right? Because we have to mention the levels also, so we can use this factor function. And which data you want to convert, so this particular data I want to convert, so I'll give that name first, data. And then you need to mention what levels you want, okay, what levels are there in that. So the levels, with the help of C function, I'm mentioning the first level as east, and the second level as west, right? And the third level is north. Okay, third level is about north. That's it. So factor, which data you want to convert to factor, and what are its labels. Let's execute and try to print new underscore data. So if you see here, it has clearly given levels as what, east, west, north. 3 levels it has given. Now if I want to check class of this one, new underscore data. So it's showing me a factor kind of data. It's showing me a factor kind of data. Okay. So whether all of you understood what I'm trying to demonstrate over here. So in this particular vector, we can clearly see there are 3 categories of values. Which are those categories? East, west, and north, right? And but the data is presented in the character vector, and I wanted to convert to the factor data. So this is how we can convert this into the factor data. In the data set, it plays very important role, categorical data. So for example, if I want to demonstrate you, let's say I am having a data set, okay, and here I am having the names, right, names. So let's say here, or we'll take the roll number of the student. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Okay, then we can take the marks, total marks. So we can have the marks like 400, 300, 500, 600, 700 like this. And then here we can take the class. So class I'll take, let's say 8th standard, right? So I'll write like 8, the 9th, right? 10th, then again 8th. So this is my string column, this is my character column, and this column I can consider as a factor column or categorical column, because there are 3 different categories. One is the 8th, second is 9th, and the third is 10th. So only this data describing about 3 categories, that is 8th, 9th, and 10th. Let me show you over here. There is one IRIS database. So IRIS data set, if I want to view that, I'm writing view over here. I'm saying IRIS, and it has displayed this data set. If you see here, it's a description regarding the flowers of iris flower. And the last column, if you can see, other columns are like sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, all are numerical column. But if you see the last column, it's a categorical column, or it's a factor column where different categories are mentioned. Which are those categories? Like Setosa is there, then versicolor will be there, right? And then virginica will be there. So there are, yeah, virginica, right? So there are 3 different categories of the iris flowers are there. So like this, in the data set, this plays very important role. Whenever there is a string kind of value or character kind of value that you can consider as a factor. If it's not in the factor, you can easily convert into the factor by using the way I have described over there, right? So this plays very important, and there are different strategies which we have to deploy when we have the categorical column in the data set. Then we should handle that particular column, right, with the proper techniques. Okay, so whether all of you understood this factor concept? Yeah.
So when we are converting this character to factor, can we use as dot factor?
Yes, that can be also used. That
But
can
yes,
also
sir,
be. But there we
but
can. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
showing character only, sir.
Okay, if you're saying as dot factor is showing a character.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I
Uh,
think the better way will be this only, but it should convert as dot factor also. It should convert. Let me check. So I'll create one data one. And one more thing with that one, I think you won't be able to specify the levels, right? Data one as dot
also
factor.
the use of levels in factor.
Because these levels are important, right? Because the only 3 levels are there. So we need to mention how many levels are there in that one. If you see the entire data, there is only 3 levels, east, west, and north, right? So we need to mention how many levels are there. For example, now I have checked this iris. If I fire str command and I'll say iris, it will give me the structure of this entire data set. And if you see here, the first one, it has given me the numeric data, second one numeric, third column numeric, fourth column numeric. The last column it's giving me as a factor with the 3 levels, Setosa, versicolor, and this it could not display over there. That is the Virginica. So the factor should be there with the properly distinct levels. Otherwise we cannot put any analysis over there. Okay. So if I put over here this data, is dot factor, yeah. So if you see, I have converted this as dot factor with the help of as dot factor. I have given this data and now it got converted to, yeah, see that this data one I am checking, it got converted to factor, right? And it's saying me true. Clear?
Yes,
If
sir.
if I want to print this data one, so now it's giving me levels also. So why it was not giving for you? I mean, is there it was
No, sir. Actually, I did not use I did not store it into another variable.
okay, understood. Yeah. Okay, so whether all of you understood this concept, I mean, what is the concept of the factor? Factor is basically related to the categorical variable, okay, categorical column which is there in our data set. So whenever you have this kind of character data or a categorical data, you can assign the different factors or the different levels, and you can easily convert to the factor data. This is very important concept which will be requiring for data pre-processing.
So basically, it identifies unique data in the list, right?
Yeah, it will identify the different levels, okay, or different classes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay then. Yeah. Yeah.
It will identify unique characters only or numeric value also.
It will identify the unique levels or the unique classes. Okay, it will give the unique classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sir, in the last we have used str iris. What that stands for str?
So str which I used, that I'll be telling you once we'll go ahead with the data set. It's like it will give the structure of any data set. So whenever we want to analyze any particular data set, we can always fire the str command to see first the structure of the data set, how each column each column is of which particular type. So it can quickly give us the description of that entire data set. Clear? So that our analysis we can go in that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
So how will we access these levels later? Like if I want to print only East data, how will I print only East data that I have?
Yes, we'll be doing, okay. Now we will create one data set and lots of operation will do on that one. So in that you will understand. Clear? That we can write with the query. Yeah. Conditional query we'll have to write. Okay. So now let's come to the data frame part. we will going to create data frame, right? So here we will going to create first data set, and then that data set we can operate with the help of data frame. Now let's see here. Suppose now all of you please pay attention and just concentrate over here, and then I'll give you something to do, and after that you will be, if you'll be able to do, then you will gain the confidence, and then from the next lecture obviously we'll requiring this stuff. So what I'll do, I'll going to create one data set in the row wise and the column wise. This data set I'll create of the COVID only. Okay, so what I want to create in this way. I'll just show you the structure. So it's like here I'll be having the names, okay, names, then as a first column, then let's say month, okay. Then I'll have positive, then I'll have negative column, positive and negative column. Okay, so I'll be writing here the names of the cities, then I'll write the month, then I'll write the number of positive cases in that particular month, then I'll write number of negative cases in those months, right? And basically I'm designing one COVID data set, okay, COVID Mumbai, let's say. And this is not the original data set which I'm designing, it's a fake only. The numbers is not, I mean the numbers, anything I'll put over there, but for the demonstration purpose, I'm creating one data set with my own figures and all, right? And this will be the structure of the data sets. So let's go ahead and we'll create simultaneously. So what we will do, we require what one column we require, that is a name column. Here we'll be having the different names. So I'll create one character vector with the names. Second column, a character vector with the month's name. The third will be with the numeric column, that is with the positive numbers, and the last column with the negative name. And here we'll be having all the numeric values. So I require first of all 4 vectors. First is character vector, second is character vector, third is numeric vector, fourth is numeric vector. So let's first create these 4 things, and then we will create one data set from this one. Okay, so let's write first names, and names I'm giving anything, right? So like here in the Mumbai, there is one area, Dharavi, where the COVID cases were more initially. Then there is one Dadar station. You can put anything, right? You can put anything. There is a Thane area. Then let's say there is one Dombivli area. And then Kalyan area is there. And we can have that side, western side, one Bandra. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements I've given over there. You can assign any city name over there. Let's execute this. Let's try to print names. So I have basically these names over there. Now the second column which I require, according to this one, the months column, let's create that one. So months. Okay. So in the months we can give randomly, let's say May, April, March, June, July, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more, let's put March. Let's execute this one, print it, May, April, March, June, July, August. Now the next column, that is positive cases and the negative cases. So let's put the values. Positive with the help of C function. Let's I'm randomly putting anything, okay? 2000, let's say 1000, 300, okay? Then 150, Then let's say 600, 700. How many values? 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay. Let's execute this. Print the positive one. So 2000, 1300, 150, 600, 700. Let's put the negative values. For the first one, let's say 1000, 500, 100, 50, 350, let's say, and 400. I'll execute this negative. Let's print this negative. So these are the values. Now I'll have to create one data frame. Okay, data frame which will be represented in row wise and column wise, like our matrix, right? Which will be in the form of data set. And whenever you want to create the data set, you can create a data frame. So now I will create the data frame with the help of all these vectors which I got. So what I will do, I'll give the name of my data set as what COVID Mumbai, okay. And then data dot frame I'm using data dot frame, and then I'll just give whatever columns I just created. Like first column was names, second is months, then positive, and then negative. Okay, positive and then negative. So if I execute this, and if I want to see COVID Mumbai, you see here names, months, positive, negative. I got the names column, months column, positive, negative, right? And if you want to read row wise, in the Dharavi, in the months May, positive cases were 2000, negative cases were 1000. In the other months, April, positive cases 1000, negative cases 500. So like this, I've created one data set. Okay, and this is what a data frame. Data dot frame we can use, and we can create the data set like this. So till here it's clear, all of you. We can also view this with the help of view command. If I say view, V is capital, and I'm saying COVID Mumbai. I'll enter this. So it will display in a nice format like this over here, right? COVID Mumbai. All of you got till here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please check it. All of you got. Then we can move ahead. I'll have some water and then we'll continue. Okay. Now, yeah. Is there any doubt?
I've got an error. Error in data frame.
Okay, what error?
Arguments imply differing numbers of rows.
Whether you have in one more element, I mean, there is a mismatch of the element in the total numbers.
So it has to be equal number of months and names of the city and positive and negative. No.
Yeah, I've given in that way, but if it's not there, then it should give the null values over there, I think. Or we need to mention. Can you show your screen? Then we can clearly find out what is that error.
Just 1 minute, sir. Sir, can you see my screen?
I'll try to see. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Data dot frame.
Months are
Oh, I
3,
think.
right?
Yeah. Months are
That's what
3
I
and
asked.
yeah.
But that's what I asked, sir. But
So
if
you
it
can
is,
put null after that. July after you can put null, comma, capital NUL, NULL capital. Yeah.
okay, okay. So if I execute,
First execute that month. First execute that month.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Now you can execute that one, that data dot frame line.
Okay.
What it's telling?
It's still saying error in data frame.
Okay, it's not taking null also. Just put one value, any value over there in place of null.
Put one
Yeah, any month over there. August, let's
oh
say.
month, August. Okay. So it has to match because I just thought that if it is the number of cities, then maybe for the month of May, June, July only we can find out. What those many months?
So you are viewing the data set in a different way. I wanted to clear. I wanted to create the data set like city wise and only 1 month I am considering. Okay.
So
Yeah.
this might work actually, but I was just thinking that if
Yeah. Understood. You think that you are thinking that for the one particular city
no, but
with the
still
different
there
month.
is a problem, sir. Still there is it's saying I executed this.
Then there is some different error. I think
Can you see COVID Mumbai? Can you see if there is any mistake over
that is
here?
proper data dot frame, but data is not in different color. Why it's
That's what even I don't know, sir.
anyway that will not come in the color. I think, but it's proper. Names, months, positive, negative. Okay. Is anybody else got the same error?
Sir, first when she was trying to print, there were only 3 months. I guess now if she'll print as there are 4 months, it will get executed.
No, but see, executed again. Again, you got the same error, right?
No, it's still the same actually.
Okay, start executing from the names. Let us see.
Names, okay.
Yeah, first execute
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
this is working. Okay.
So why do we have to execute names, months, and a positive before?
Because if we are combining in the COVID Mumbai, we are mentioning the names of those character vector, right? And then if those are not executed, then it will not take it. Yeah.
Okay.
Before that, we are making the columns ready.
Or maybe because I did not execute this, sir. So can you see this one is not executed?
I don't know. I mean, just try to
I'm
execute
just,
the last line, then see.
maybe I will just check now. Yeah, now it's working, sir.
Okay,
Because I
okay.
did not execute the negative one.
Yeah, so that's what.
Now
I
I
mean,
understood. Okay, so I understood.
So,
okay. Yes.
so now if you have in your data set you have given April, May, March. So if in my data when I'm printing it, if I want it in March, April, May, how will I do that? Like how will I sort it from 3 to 5th month?
You are asking me that for one particular city for different months, right?
No, sir. Like how will in like ascending order, how will you present it? Because it's May, April, March. So if I want to present it in March,
Yes. Wait. I mean, we are coming on there, right? We will be doing all the operations. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So till here, all of it created, right? Data set is ready.
Yes, sir. So the previous one should work of mine, sir. If I take the 3 months only and the four.
Yes. In
Should
your
work.
case, that was the error. You have not
Yeah.
executed only
Yes,
one
sir.
one
So
of the
then
column.
it would work, correct.
Hmm. Okay. Now what? Suppose I want this particular column. Okay, I want this particular column to be displayed. So how I can display that? So remember what is our variable name? Dataset variable name is what? COVID Mumbai. So what I will do? COVID Mumbai. I'll write the name. Then I'll put the dollar sign. The moment you will put the dollar sign, all the columns will be displayed over here. So if I'll say names, okay, so it will going to display the COVID Mumbai names, right? So we can access with the help of dollar sign with the variable name, the data set variable name, okay, and we can put the dollar sign, then we can access all the columns of that particular data set. Similarly, let's say if you want to access COVID Mumbai dollar, let's access this positive, so I'll say positive. I can access that positive column. Clear? Now,
Can we access only 2 columns, sir?
yes,
Can we put dollar names, comma, dollar positive most probably? I don't know. Just checking. No, it's not working.
here we cannot put over there, right? Here
No,
we
2
cannot put.
columns I'm
Yeah,
saying. It won't.
I'm coming with the help of indexing we can do all those things, okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, before that what I want to insert one more column. For example, right now if you see my data set is looking like this, what I want to put one more column over here, okay, one more column over here, but this column will not be something extra, but in fact this will, I'll be deriving from the same data set. So what I want positive to negative ratio. I want positive to negative ratio over here. So basically I want to add one ratio column, and which will be positive to negative ratio. So let's do that. How we will get positive divided by negative, and we can insert that particular column over here. So I'll give the name as, let's say, COVID Mumbai dollar. Here we can specify that name. So let's say I'm giving ratio. Okay, ratio. So this column is not there. Okay, this column is not there, but I am giving a new name, ratio, which will be inserted over there. And to this one, the simply what I can do, COVID Mumbai dollar positive to COVID Mumbai dollar negative. Okay, just execute this and again try to see COVID Mumbai. Now I'm having those ratios over there, right? So it's like I got positive divided by negative, and that ratio column got added over there. Now let's say after that, um, if I'm saying like this, COVID Mumbai. So with the help of index number, I can access, let's say, suppose I'm saying 3 comma, and I'm leaving the second parameter as blank. So what do you think, what we will get? We will get the third row. Third row is which one? This one, Thane row. So this row I will get because what I mentioned 3 comma blank. So it will give me the third entire row, Let's see. So it has given me Thane, March, and with the ratio. Similarly, if I only say COVID Mumbai, let's say 3 comma Thane row 3 comma 3. If I say 3 comma 3, if you see here we got 300. So which is our 3 comma 3? If you see here, this is my third row and this is the third column, and this is my 3 comma 3 value. So I got 3 comma 3 value, that is 300. So with the help of indexes we can access it. If I simply say COVID Mumbai, if I simply say 3 over here, so it will going to display the third column. Third column is nothing but our positive column. I have not mentioned anything. I simply mention the name of the just one number, right? So it will going to give me the third full column. Okay. Then with the help of this, let's say COVID Mumbai, and the first I am leaving blank, and I am saying a ratio over here. So with the help of this also we can access. So it will give me the ratio column. Okay, ratio column and all the rows. Now suppose I want to get the data in the combination of let's say 2 columns. So what I can do, COVID Mumbai, right? And in the square bracket, I can mention, let's say, C with the combination function. Let's say I want to combine second and third row. So this one I am leaving blank. So it will give me the second and third row full second and third row. So let's do that. So if you see here, I got second row and I got third row. Similarly, if I want, let's say the third and fourth column, I can say what, COVID Mumbai. Here I leave blank and I'll say third and fourth column. Okay, and I'll execute. So I'll get the third and fourth column. You got my answer. You got the answer of your question, right? This is how we can combine and we can get the combination of the rows and columns. Okay, now so whatever remaining things are there, we'll be doing on this particular data set in the next class. What I want from all of you, that please, all of you, whatever things I've taught today, right? So many things I've taught today, and this will really going to create the base of your data science. So please practice a lot, especially this, how to create the data set, how I'm accessing all these elements, right? How I'm inserting one more column over there. So all these things are required to practice. Let me just stop the recording.